Okay, so I can see two big functions, one composed of the other. Like this outer function, it's like this is all an x that's being squared, right? So this is an x squared function. And the x is just all this stuff on the inside. So the cosine x over 1 plus sine of x, that's the innermost function. That means we have to use the chain rule to find this derivative. We're going to take a derivative of the outermost function and multiply it by the derivative of the innermost function. Okay, so the outermost function is just a squaring function. It's the power rule. That's all we have to do. Make that 2 come down and multiply. That's cosine of x over 1 plus sine of x. And then the 2 gets reduced by 1. So now this is to the first power, right? And now, because of the chain rule, we have to multiply it by the derivative of this inside function. This stuff in here was inside the squaring function. So now we've got to multiply by the derivative of the inside function. This requires the quotient rule, right? The derivative of the top function, which is negative sine, times the bottom function kept the same. Subtracted by the top function kept the same, times the derivative of the bottom function. If you take a derivative of 1 plus sine of x, you should get cosine of x. And we're going to get a cosine squared, so we're thinking maybe one of the Pythagorean identities might help us. And then that's all over the bottom function squared. That's our derivative. It's just ugly right now. The calculus part's done. Now we just need to clean it up. So I'm going to multiply that 2 inside here. This is 2 cosine x over 1 plus sine of x. And then if I clean this up in here, I'll distribute that negative sign to both terms inside the parentheses. So that's negative sine of x minus sine squared x. And then cosine times cosine makes cosine squared x. And all over the denominator squared. Lots of fun. Okay, so look, this is a negative sine of x minus cosine of x. You could factor out a negative 1 from everything, and that changes both these to be positive, right? This is the same thing as what we just wrote up there. I factored out that negative 1 from everything. And I did that because now I have sine squared plus cosine squared. That's a Pythagorean identity we use a lot in calculus. This is 2 cosine x over 1 plus sine of x. And then here we just found out that this is 1, so we've got negative sine of x in the numerator minus that 1 over 1 plus sine of x squared. And then we can factor out a negative 1 from the numerator. So this is 2 cosine x, and then factor out a negative 1. That's sine of x plus 1. And I did that because I saw that the numerator and denominator are almost exactly the same. Right, you've got 1 plus sine of x in the numerator, 1 plus sine of x in the denominator, so one of those can cancel out. And so when you simplify, that's negative 2 cosine x over 1 plus sine of x. Looks kind of similar to what we started with. Okay, but that should be the derivative. In these last steps, I actually dropped something. I forgot about this term over here. Okay, so we had all this is correct. This part is just missing. This shouldn't be 1 plus sine of x to the second power. You get 1 plus sine of x times 1 plus sine of x squared. That should be 1 plus sine of x to the third power. And then when you reduce, it should go down to the second power. So I just accidentally forgot about this term here. So this is the correct answer.